Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you are new, thank you so much for clicking on today's video. Today's video is brought to you in partnership with The Good and the Beautiful, and I am excited to share all of the answers to these questions with you guys. I let my Instagram followers choose what topic I was going to make a video on regarding The Good and the Beautiful. That was the one little, like, it had to be related to The Good and the Beautiful because I love making videos that you guys need or want, and I got so many good things that I was like, there's just no way that I can, I mean, like, this, like, see how many? There was just no way that I could just pick one. So what I decided to do was let my Instagram followers choose The Good and the Beautiful video, one of them that I was doing this month in February, and then I just had to make it a Q&A because there's just so many questions. So I am gonna jump right into today's video. If you're interested in The Good and the Beautiful homeschooling curriculum, I always have it linked down in the description box. We've been using it now going on almost 3 years and still love it just as much as day one, if not more. So I am going to just jump right into this Q&A. And if you have any questions or you want me to do an entire video on any of these topics, leave them down in the comments of this video and I will come back to it and answer them. If you like The Good and the Beautiful content and you're thankful that I continue to share, give me a thumbs up on this video right now before you forget. All right, so the first thing I have here is, do I think or believe that the language arts is teaching kids enough? 100% yes. The Good and the Beautiful is the most comprehensive, well-rounded language arts program I have ever seen. And as far as homeschooling curriculum goes, it far outreaches anything being taught in public schools, at least in my area, and it's incredible. So yes, absolutely. Sorry, my hair is like a little crazy today. Absolutely wonderful. Definitely teaching them enough. And one thing I want to point out, I know a lot of you guys follow me and so you already know this, but if you're just new and you're clicking on this video right now, I have 4 kids and they are all in different levels, and so I've used almost every single level The Good and the Beautiful has up to where I am now, which is getting ready to go into high school. So I've used everything from kindergarten up. So I know all the levels and it's awesome. Okay, the next one. I struggle with finding time to do history and science twice a week. First year homeschooler, help, and like lots of ease. Oh, I'm sending you a huge hug. It's hard. So if you're having a hard time, don't kill yourself trying to do more. Just do whatever feels good. Like, that's my advice. I know it says and it recommends to do it 2 times a week, but nothing terrible is going to happen if you only do it 1 time a week. And the most important thing when you're a first-year homeschooler is to remember that you're learning a lot as you homeschool your kids, like how does this work, and systems and routines and learning styles, and it's all very intense and almost overwhelming. So as you continue to homeschool, those things will become easier, and then you'll be able to do those 2 lessons a week, no problem. So I wouldn't stress out about that. Hang in there though, and the thing is to not make yourself so stressed out that you give up on homeschooling altogether would be my advice. So I don't think there's anything wrong with doing it once a week if you're struggling to get 2 times in, but if you're wanting a practical way of doing it, I like block scheduling, so I do science and history on opposing days, and sometimes I will do 2 lessons at one time and just dedicate like an entire hour or hour and a half to that one subject. But of course that would depend on the ages of your kids and all of that stuff. So that's my advice for that. The next one is, do I supplement writing? Level 4 here, and she's wondering if the writing is enough. No, I don't supplement writing because writing is something that can be really frustrating if they don't have the tools and the abilities to be able to write well. And because I've seen the progression of the levels in The Good and the Beautiful through level 5 and level 6, and level 7, the writing kicks up quite a bit, and that's, I think, age appropriate and maturity level appropriate. So I don't add anything else into the writing, but my kids write a lot of stories just for fun. We do a morning like journal time where I give them a topic to write about, but it's just a couple of sentences, and then that's really all we do for writing. The next one says, could I please do an update on the health unit? I think she's talking about the maturation unit. I haven't done that one yet. That is for the 3rd quarter. So I will do a video on that when I do it. The next one, what type of program is there? Math, mastery, spiral, conceptual? I don't know. I think it's kind of a combination actually of the 3. If that's possible. The next one, I want to know more about the handwriting and math in the books they have. I have a ton of videos here on my channel that you can look at, and you can also go onto their website, and they've got a lot there for you. The next one is, what is a fun way to use the flashcards? Are you meaning the geography and grammar cards? Because if that's what you're meaning, what my kids enjoy doing is we choose out 5 to 7 cards, and they work on memorizing them for an entire week, and then we have like a testing day, and they aim to have them all memorized, all 5 to 7 of them, and they enjoy that because it's like a small challenge of memorization, and that's the way that we do it. I personally don't try to come up with like a lot of like, oh, if you do this, then you'll get this, like that kind of thing, because I don't want to keep up with that. And honestly, I don't want them to view learning as something that they have to be like rewarded for all of the time. So that's the way that we do it. The younger ones, like the phonics flashcards, if that's what you're talking about, those were a little bit different because they were younger, but I'm thinking you're talking about the geography cards. The next one is writing. We use the good and the beautiful, but have never used the writing portion of language arts. Well, the writing is woven into the language arts, so it's not separate. And I'm not real sure what the question is there, but maybe just more information about the writing. So I'm thinking that that's what you're meaning. The writing is, it goes from learning how to write a paragraph. First, it starts with learning how to write a sentence, and then you learn how to write a paragraph, and then it moves up into how to make paragraphs more interesting, with not using repetitive words and sentences, and including transitional words, and creating outlines and coming up with information. And then it moves into like research paper writing, and then it moves into including thesis statements, and the writing is top notch, guys, so that I can just say those things. Math 2 flip through, that's coming. Or it actually already is up. By the time when I'm filming this, it's not up, but by the time this video is up, that will be up. So I have part 2, and I don't have the box of like the materials because I was just showing like the course book, but you guys will see that. Is the Good and the Beautiful Mormon or Christian? It is non-denominational curriculum, so as long as you acknowledge that God is real and the Holy Bible is his spoken word, then you will be fine. The next one is spelling. Spelling has been hard for me. I don't know if it's my kids. We've always just kind of struggled with spelling. And the thing that I have found with spelling is that for some kids it just comes easier, and for others it's a little more challenging. So what I do is I just do the spelling as they tell you for whatever level it's on. So like my daughter, who's in level 2, is it's you just choose a few words and you practice those words, and then you start doing sentence dictation. And when she spells, with the sentence dictation, we go back and we correct any spelling errors. And then, you know, as they get older, you're focused less on spelling words and more on sentence dictation and grammar and things like that. So, I just teach it the way that they have it listed out. And then as my kids get older, when they're younger, I don't try to like critique the spelling of every word. But once they get older, then I do start to correct their work for spelling errors, because I think that that's important. So that's how we do it. The next one is, this year we did The Good and the Beautiful. I'm considering Sunlight next year. Can you compare them? I have done both curriculums, and they're really not the same. So that makes it hard to compare. One of them is literature based, and pretty much everything that you learn is going to be from a book that you're reading. So if that is what you enjoy, then you might enjoy Sunlight. I know for me, when I did Sunlight, the language arts was not impressive to me. It was like a tiny little thing. And I had to implement spelling, and I had to add all these other things into it to bulk it up and make it feel good enough. So the language arts and Sunlight's language arts, in my opinion, do not compare at all. As far as history goes, The Good and the Beautiful history can be used for a vast age range. Sunlight's age ranges are like 2 to 3 years. So if that works for your family, then you might prefer that. But I wanted something that I could teach all of my kids at once and then adjust it to the level that they're needing. And I wanted to continue to read my kids read aloud books that correlate with history, but I didn't want to be reading 10 books at once. And that is truly how many books I was reading when I was doing Sunlight level D and A. And it was so overwhelming. I could have never kept up with that pace. So I much prefer Sunlight, or I much prefer The Good and the Beautiful for history over Sunlight. I did a video kind of on why, like a long time ago, why I think one way or the other, but I don't really like to do super like comparison videos, because I feel like there's not a one size fits all for everyone, and I'm just sharing what I enjoy and what I like, and so I don't want to put down another company, you know. So that's my take on that. The next one says, I'm dreading maturation but somewhat already open with my boys, but need to purchase. The question cut off. I'm sorry. Try not to dread it. I know I'm kind of with you in that, like, but it's more just like, I don't know. It's like I don't know, the fact that they're growing up, that is just like hard for me to get over. And I do believe, and this is my opinion, everyone can have their own. I do believe that there is an age where the information is more appropriate to be given, and I think every kid is different and every family is different. But for me, I've waited to give the whole picture. And I'm glad that I have, because once you know these things, you look at the world a little bit differently. And you look at your parents a little bit differently. And I'm just like, eek, but we're gonna get there too. So we can do this, we can do this. It's better for them to know the scientific, godly way than hear about it elsewhere. This next one says, we struggle with how long school seems to take us. Are we doing too much? Who's to say what's too much and what's too little? Our school days are long now. It's just the way it is. I've relinquished that. I remember when I first started homeschooling and I had like preschool and kindergarten, and my oldest was in 2nd grade, and every day we were done with school by lunch almost. And I remember those days. They were glorious, but we are not in that season now. The next one says, how to do the Good and the Beautiful language arts with more than one kiddo. I do it with 4 of them, and I just have to make my way around. So I start sitting between my youngest 2, and I go like this, da, 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 do this, okay, good, good, good. And then I come over here and I do this, and then when they have spelling, I give one a word, and then I give another one, and I go like this between my younger 2. My older 2 work independently on their language arts for everything that they don't need me for, and then I go one-on-one with them after I'm done with my other 2, and I check their lesson at that point, and I go over it with them, and if I need improvements or I need more, I explain that to them, and then I do the sentence dictation with them, and if they have any memorization work, then we go over that. So those 2 are in 6th and 7th grade, and they're learning to work more independently, which is fantastic. But definitely I'm still hands-on, but I start with my younger 2, and that's how I do language arts with more than one child. The next question is, any related insight on high school curriculum and finding unit studies in biology? I am sorry, I am not there yet. Once I get there, I will share, but I have not crossed that bridge yet. Getting ready to, and I will share with you guys. The next one is history with a 9-year-old. It is a lot for younger ones. I agree. And I know that this might go against what a lot of other people say, but I do think history is just hard for young kids. It's just hard. And even though it's appropriate and it's good to expose them to things, I do think like history has so much depth to it, and it has so much, I don't know, it's just really hard to explain. So I would say if your child is just not at all interested in history, just hang on to it and try again next year. I've got a 9-year-old, almost 10-year-old who knows more about history than I do, and he loves learning about it, so that's different. But if you've got a kid that just doesn't have an interest in learning about history, maybe just try reading some like historical fiction to them, and just talking about, you know, times before, but maybe not like a formal history lesson. If your child isn't interested in something, they're not going to learn it anyway, so it's just why even really bother like wasting your time type of thing. So I think that just depends on the kid. The next question is about history as well. 7-year-old, 5-year-old, and baby. Should I wait a few years to start history together? I would. The next one is math, K, and first if possible compared with Horizons and the difference it made with your kids, if any. Okay, so this year was the first year that I had a level of the Good and the Beautiful math that was appropriate for one of my children, and it's math 2. Because the Good and the Beautiful is still working on releasing their higher level math, there was never one that was ready for me when my kids were at that age. So I was so excited to get to try out math 2. And if you're comparing it to Horizons, that is what I have always used up until teaching textbooks. But my kids have gone through all the levels of Horizons as well. And Horizons is a solid math program. Horizons is colorful. It is the spiral learning method, and I've enjoyed it, and my kids have a solid math foundation. But I will say that upon getting math 2 from the Good and the Beautiful, there were things that are in math 2 from the Good and the Beautiful that my daughter, who's completed Horizons year 2, had not done or learned yet. And so, you know, anytime you switch from one curriculum to another, it's not going to be a perfect streamlined thing because they're different programs, they're set up differently, they're created by different people. And so anytime you switch a curriculum, you kind of have to be okay with like maybe reviewing some things or maybe doing things differently. Now the difference is with the Good and the Beautiful math is that it is full. There's stories, there's real life applications. It's almost like, the thing I can compare some of it to is like Life of Fred, but into the curriculum. There's little mastery and review things. There's activities, like it's so much more than just like a master workbook type math, which I'm not putting that math down. That's what I've used and it's worked for my kids. But The Good and the Beautiful makes math like alive and beautiful. And so that's what I would say there. A lot of people have asked me, and I always give you guys my honest opinion, if Horizons 2 is more difficult than The Good and the Beautiful Math 2. And I will say for the most part, yes, because it does go into a little bit more. But again, there were things like memorizing skip counting and things like that that are not a lot of emphasis in Horizons that are in The Good and the Beautiful. And so I don't know, it's kind of a swap. Some of it's been review and some of it has been new, but that's just how it goes anytime you try a new math program. So that's my thoughts on that. The next one is it enough for older students? Yes. Definitely language arts, 100%. It's perfect in my opinion. Definitely history. The only thing that I've noticed this year is with science. My daughter is going to be in 8th grade next year, so she's in 7th grade. And I don't know if it's the units that I chose to do this year. She's still learning new information, but I don't know. I do feel like next year for science for 8th grade, I might have to do a separate thing with her versus my other kids, just to make sure she's getting some of those higher level concepts. We do utilize all of the lesson extensions, but I do think she's ready for a little bit more when it comes to science. But as far as history, as far as language arts go, as far as like typing and all of the other things we have, definitely in my opinion, is great for older kids. So that is gonna be it for this Q&A part 1 because this thing is long. Tomorrow I will have part 2 of this go up. So if you didn't see your answer, tomorrow will be the day. So I'm gonna sign off here, but I'll see you guys tomorrow to finish up this Q&A. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any other questions, post them down in the comments below and I will get back to you. And I hope you guys have a great day. Thanks for hanging out with me and hearing about all the things, the good and the beautiful. See you next time, guys. Bye.